Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the price of gold. Price has reached our 1875 highs. So really interesting level to look at. If we actually look left, there's some interesting resistance going on here in the past, resistance and support. And price has most recently retested the 1875. So I want to know if price is going to break this level here or move to the upside. Now, what you can see is I've drawn on this box through here because what the price of gold will be determined by ultimately is if the dollar is strong or weak. Now, what you can see is if I just open this out here on the left hand side, I have the US dollar index. Now what you can see again, the box is highlighted the time period where we had that downside in the market. So when price was up here at the $2,060 level and it traded all the way down to the 1609s and then broken through, that was the same time period here in the US dollar index where we found a low through the end of June. Price then rallied to the upside last year, ending up at the 115 highs, and then we ended up breaking out of that level, seeing this downside continuation. Now that downside continuation there is what this upside move here is on gold. Now the reason why I'm looking at the dollar index as well as the price of gold is because if I want the dollar index, if I want the price of gold to sort of find resistance here, or I'm expecting it to find resistance here, I would also want the dollar index to find support. Now we talked about a break below the 103.75 and the 103.50 handle could be a problem for the dollar, and it could then signal further downside for the US dollar, with the 101.50 handle being the lows here back in May last year. Now if the 103.50 didn't hold, and it hasn't held, and price is now trading at 103.23, could that then signal that gold is actually going to trade through the $1875 level? So that's what I'm considering here. If price is going to trade to the downside here for the dollar index, 1875 will probably be broken here on the price of gold on the weekly time frame. If we then trade through that, the 101.50 could be this area here around about the 1970 or $1975 area, where you can see was the sort of highs that were formed in sort of April last year. Now these this doesn't always work. Obviously there's not an always guaranteed sort of correlation between the US dollar index and the price of gold. You know, if we actually take a look at gold and just open gold back up, you know, a lot of the price of gold throughout the previous year in 2021 was in a range, and that wasn't necessarily the case for the dollar index. The dollar index was on that sort of upward path through here, so it doesn't always have that really strong correlation, but I think at the moment we are seeing that, and that could affect where the price of gold's going to head to next, essentially. So I just wanted to warn you that if you are looking at the price of gold right now, make sure you are taking a look at your US dollar index. Now the US dollar index looks like we are sort of consolidating here. We did pop up to the 105.50 handle, but we rejected quite aggressively, and then today we've had a speech from Jerome Powell, who's still talking about high inflation. So you know, the need for hiking rates is still going to continue. So there's no real change there from the policy, and you know, I don't really see much change to this dollar index downside for the time being. However, if we were to get some kind of pop-up to the upside, then you know, if we maybe trade back above the 103.75, that means gold will probably reject this 1875 handle, and we probably see some downside there. Now we haven't really predicted gold too well over the past few weeks, although we did talk about this consolidation. What I did expect was maybe $1,800 to hold. That was where the price was around about the 103.50 level on the dollar index, and if that had held, then price would have potentially broken out of this and traded to the downside. But this pattern that formed here actually broke higher, and you can see 1875 really is that sticking point at the moment. Now if we get a pullback here, it doesn't mean that the price of the dollar index has held. It just means that we might get a slight pullback before a breakthrough to the upside. So what I would want to see, if I was going to be a long trader of gold at the moment, is a strong weekly close outside of the 1875 handle. I think if you get a weekly close outside of the 1875 handle, it will really open the door up to looking for further opportunities. Now, there is a high in here that could be, of concern. So it's around about, let's just grab the visualization tool. So it's around about, I'd say 1910. Just pop in 1910 here, and you can see these highs just back through here, which was in May. That could be also another little bit of a sticking point, because you can see that had a strong aggressive move come from there in the past as well. So, but what I would like to look for is if we did get that strong weekly close above 1875, can we then look for trend opportunities to the upside here? Now, if I look at the 4-hour time frame at the moment, the last time we talked about gold, we actually talked about potentially getting long within the range that had been formed around about this area down through here, okay, which was around about the 1823. Now, if you were looking out for that, we did get a nice pin candle rejection. If I actually just zoom in on that, we actually got a really nice rejection at that area here. So this was the demand zone we were talking about. We were talking about finding that sort of pin candle there, and price did reject to the upside. So if we did manage to trade that move there, we would have had a really nice move to the upside. Now what we can see is this consolidation's forming here. So we're either going to see a consolidation and a breakout to the upside, or we're going to see a consolidation and a breakout to the downside. Okay, so this box now is going to be super important for us. But if we were to get that weekly close above, what would likely happen is price would have traded out of this range, and we could have been trading to the upside there. So maybe this range is going to be quite important, whether we're going to see the upside or the downside in gold. At the moment, I am favoring the upside, just because of that US dollar index. If I just bring that back in, like I said, trading below the 103.50 handle, that's important because it's trading outside of this range here. So if we were to get a secondary daily close there, that would really signal to me that maybe price is going to start trading back down towards the 101.50 handle. So we do have to be aware of that when trading that price of gold. So hopefully that all made sense. If it did, leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more of our Forex trading content. Keep an eye on your price of gold in line with your dollar index. We are at technically a key level of resistance, so I wouldn't want to be long at the moment. I want to see price trade through it first, get it out of the way, and then look to potentially see higher prices. If not, and we do get the rejection here, maybe a weekly bearish close, it could signal that the 1875 has been held, and we could see some further downside from that point. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video.